Hi guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines. We're playing Exactville. Okay, in the last episode we started off with this little farming village out in the sticks. Actually quite a nice spot next to the river. And as you typically see in many cities, not that I built the map, but as you see in many cities, they ruin the shoreline with rail and road connections, freeways and stuff. So instead of building um, a nice water-facing city or developed area, they typically do build roads there or rail. So this is quite interesting that you see that in here as well. Okay, so what I did is I actually went and picked up a few rural station assets, or actually, anyway, there it is, a rural cargo station. And it produces pollution. Oh, noise pollution. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm gonna slot it in over here um, as part of the farming area, because obviously they need to get somewhere, get their cargo out. I also picked up assets for not for passenger stations, but I can't seem to find them. Anyway, the one that I'm after is here, so I'm not too worried about the rest. But I picked up a rural passenger station as well. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about that. So let me see. If I do this, I can squeeze it in over here somewhere. And we have the bypass track and some additional tracks. And to be honest, I want it nice and snug with the city. I think someone's living there, but that's okay. So I'll do that. Pop it in there. Ooh, what is this? Okay, I probably didn't pick up all the other. I think it's probably had some other assets in there that should have been in there. Um, so I'm not gonna do it in this episode. Then I'm gonna pop it out, and we're gonna fix this. I'll fix it later, and we'll come back to it. What I also want to do in this episode is really see about bulking up density. I want to see much more traffic and much more movement of people from places. So what I thought I'd do is actually do a very large and high density, efficient high density kind of office development over here, and then extend that into some residential, maybe towards the back of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a road, so probably come out of here and route along through here and then join up over there. So first things first, is that steep or not? No, it's a very minor slope. So let me grab this road connection, and I've got all of this on, right? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna run it up the hill there. See how that looks. That's did create a very minor cut there, but it's fine. Okay. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a section of road in this direction, and I'm thinking just plain road like that. So I'll make a start, and then I'm gonna kink it like this, right? Yeah, that's good, that's very good. And then I'm gonna try and run it fairly straight from there. Alternatively, I can do this. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna turn it back and go straight in there. So let's do that as a landing area. And you know what? Probably need it even, yeah, something like that. Okay, and now let's tie these two together. So that's our kind of the area that I'm hoping to fill in with a lot of more high density development. This road itself, I will not zone onto it, but I think everything else is probably about fair game. So first things first, we should probably see about doing something like that. So in terms of this road, I don't want too many road connections off of it. So I'll do maybe like 3 road connections off of it, and maybe I'll try and space them a little bit more. So something like that and something like that. Come on, snapping is messing me up over here. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so there we go. That is the start of it, and so I will have the ability to in future increase the capacity of that road, or I'm going to try and maintain that so we can. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to do something like this. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna connect over there. I'm rather gonna do something like that. Yeah, that gives me, so it is a bit more of a grid that we're doing over here. And the reason being, I want it to be quite efficient to really get up the densities, but it's not going to be too tedious, I think. So over here we're going to run that in there. We're probably going to run this in there, something like that, and that's going to give us a nice dense area over here. Let's extend that a little bit more. Let's run this through like that and like that. Actually, that is a little bit close. I don't want that. It's a bit close to that road over there, so I'd rather we actually extend this. Maybe, hang on, it's not necessarily a need to do that, so let me do something like this and something like that, and then I'm going to connect these two up like so. Okay. And as part of that, I probably need to add a few more connections to this side. So shall I do this one, that one, and maybe something over here. Oh, and I definitely need a ton more capacity over here. So let's start off by doing that. Let's fill this in over here, and I'll do something like that. Say something like that. Good stuff. So that's a connection over there. Mainly 3, well, few 4-way junctions. So if I do, yeah, I can extend that, and then we can tie that back in, just like so. And then this is a larger area which has got a bit of an awkward shape for development, but I think we can put something in there, something interesting in there, or we can kind of try and grid it out a little bit more. Yeah, so this is what I'm kind of after, is this kind of look and feel that we're showing over here. And why is that so close though? So let me just add a bit more like that, so we kind of, oh, interesting how that worked out over there. But so now what I want to make sure we do is make sure that we do a number of pedestrian connections to the various sections and areas, just to make sure that this area is indeed also walkable. Okay, so let me grab that. I'm just going to do kind of standard pedestrian roads or pedestrian pathways, and I might have to just turn off the snapping for that. Okay, let's do that, and there we go, right in there. That's barely a connection. I'm gonna connect these two together like that and do something like so. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm just gonna kind of connect this on there, and this one on this side, and there. So over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it straight into that corner over there. These are okay, they can connect by themselves. And shall I just, oops, too close. Okay, so shall I just kind of connect through like that? Yes, perfect. So there's a few connections over there. I'm definitely going to add this connection over here. I probably need to do a pedestrian crossing somewhere to really facilitate that movement. I think I'll probably actually run something through here as well, and trying to not take up too much proper zonable area. Yeah, that's good. That is good. So I'm gonna stick with that for now. Actually, what I could also do is I could also extend this one through like that. That'd be good. And the other side too might also be good. You know what? I'm gonna pull that back, and I'm gonna just do that. Yeah, that's much better. That is much better. So those are a few connections that can help our pedestrian movement, but would not necessarily result in a lot of traffic. Okay, so let's do some water pipes like this, like that, and like so. Probably need to extend like this, like that, and like that. Yep, that area is covered now. Bring it down here, extend along this road. Yeah, that's fine. That covers most of the area. Actually, that covers all of it, all of what we need to cover for now. We've got power here, so we'll just start our zoning on this side. And yes, the intention is a nice large office park. Oh, I don't want any funny shapes from it, so let's do that as a starting point. I might do, I don't know, might do a section. I might do the office park over here, and then with the residential component on that side. But on the other hand, if I do create a residential component to it, we're going to have less traffic. So maybe instead what I should do is I should just do a few sections of commercial. So if I do something like that and like that, of commercial, and then we just further fill it up with with office. Okay, and do that. Fill in a bit more commercial over there, and a bit more commercial over here. Actually, let's just fill in all of that. Even if they do small little shops there, it's fine. Small shops are okay. Okay, that's it. And now I'll fill in the rest over here. Oops. There we go. Good stuff. Okay, so that's filling in nicely. I would like to see that become a nice high density area. Oh, and in that regard, I probably need to look at a few plazas or something. Plaza with picnic tables. Fairly centered though, I would imagine. Yeah, something like that. Have I already zoned this area? Yes, I have. So bastards. Stop that quickly. So let me just pop them in there. I think a nice plaza in there could work well. Yeah, just something like that. Yeah, fair enough. My graphics aren't the greatest, so that's not looking too spectacular. And let's pop in a few trees. just alongside it. There we go. So there we've got a bit of a plaza area in the center of this area. Let's see, is there anything? Well, what I've got this thing on this side, so maybe I should just fill in this entire area with what is that? Oh, the wrong stuff here. Maybe I should just fill in this entire area with a few trees, maybe even a bit of a rock or so. Something like that. Yes, and I'm not. This isn't my key skill set, by the way. So forgive me if it's not the kind of parks that you're used to in some of the other series. I just want a bit of greenery in the center of this. Okay, so that's what we've got going on over there. So hopefully that'll pick up nicely. We've got a police station over here. And I'm guessing then we also have a clinic. Oh, it was a police station, a fire station, and a clinic. So we've got all of that going on this side. So we don't need anything more than that at the moment. So that's fine. I think this is filling in nicely. Not quite the very, very high density yet. So we'll probably need some form of public transport in this area to be able to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the rest of it as well. Probably start around there and do something like that. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. And I'll just zone this side of it. There we go. Oh, that one I'm going to fill up. So actually, to be honest, I can actually fill that. That would be good. Nice, filling that in there nicely. I am going to add a bit more commercial right in this corner over here. So we've got a bit of a commercial street strip that runs up and down here. Be nice. And at the same time, I'm going to keep filling this up. I don't remember whether there was anything else I needed in the area. Maybe, to be honest, let's add a crematorium. That spot is perfect for it. So we'll add a bit of it. I've already got one over there. Okay, fine. Is there anything else? I don't necessarily need a school in this area. Not until I actually do put some residential in here. What else? What else? A recycling center. This area could benefit from something like that, but this is one fairly close by. If anything, I'll want to plop it along this side over here. So maybe let me extend that road a little bit. And put on my snapping. Okay, yeah, put on the snapping. Let's extend that road a little bit and see about adding a recycling center right here. Yeah, I think that should be fine. So we've got a little bit more recycling happening in this area. Yeah, that's filling in nicely. Let me quickly keep filling in that. Let's do something like that. And like so. There we go. And I can also actually drop that and let's do a little bit more commercial right through there. There we go. And there we've got it, a nice, nicely packed area over here, and we are starting to see a fair bit of traffic being generated, actually using the bridge now. That's good stuff. Okay. So the question I have, what is this guy complaining about? The question I have is whether we just do a bit of a ferry connection somewhere right over here. I like the idea of doing it. I like that idea. What is that? Are these guys flooding or what are the issues? Yeah, I think that's what's happening over here. They're flooding. The river pops up a little bit and it floods them. Yeah? Yep, I think that's what's happening. I like the idea of a ferry connection because what we've got over here is a lot of residential, but I'll come back to it. I'll leave the space over here to be able to do a ferry connection because I want to do a number. I want to do a ferry connection from, oh, there's one. So I want to do a number of potential ferry connections and see how we can make crossing the river a little bit more interesting than just using a bridge. But that area is filling in nicely. The question I have here is whether we do something with the rail. Do we try and get the rail over there? Do we branch off? I don't quite know where we would branch off. Maybe if we branch off over here and run up here, we've got some room through here and then cross to that side. That's something we could do. Oh, we've already got a bridge over here. Wow, it looks funny. Look at that. Looks really funny. Anyway, so we've got a bridge over here, so potentially we can run a rail track through there as well. Well, once we've got something to run the rail track to. Now, I am wondering. So everybody is making this right turn over here. So what I should probably do is actually extend this even further. Yeah, extend this section even more, run it up here. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Okay, so let me grab that road. Just going to maintain whatever we've got going on over there. Now let's just do something like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, and now we'll just run it more straight like this. Yeah, so that's going to be the shape of, and that could become a fairly busy intersection at some point. And what I'll do is I'll run this one straight through there, and then we'll try and maximize our efficiency a bit through here without making it too boring though. Again, I want to make sure we keep things interesting. Interesting yet efficient, right? That's the game plan. Okay, actually probably worth doing another one like that. Anyway, that might be a little bit close. I'm gonna just pull back on that a little bit. Give me one more over that way. One. There we go. Gonna do that and that. Then what we'll do is we'll run in. Yeah, we'll run in something like this. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be fairly efficient if we just maintain that as a grid. But what I would be keen on is actually doing that and just trimming these back a little bit. Okay, so let me just do, yeah, something like that. That's perfect. So now we do this. We extend that a little bit more. That might actually be a little bit too close. So let me just put these out first. We'll run through here. We'll add that as a connection. And yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I just want to bring it up to zoning level over there. So that just keeps things interesting. So now you don't have a specific movement, but you've got numerous movements that's occurring. And likewise, what we could do is we could connect, but I don't want to connect too many roads onto that section over there. So let me keep running this straight. And maybe we'll do even another section through here before we tie it together, or maybe we tie it together over there now. Yes, so what you're just trying to avoid is that you find a lot of kind of rat running kind of, oh, there's another rail connection over here. So I'm wondering about, this is interesting. We could What we could do is we could have a nice big station right here somewhere, and then run this one along there to potentially join a connection that comes this way, and then still feeds everything along here. That could work, that could work. The problem is the fact that we're not really connecting through the city. Alternatively, what we could do is this one could come in. It could have a station over here, and that station could also connect up to this one. So we could run something through here. Yes, that would be quite interesting in itself. So there's a number of options I see we have over here, and maybe in that regard, what we should do is we should plan for a nice big railway station over there. What is that? Oh, this is obviously an asset, right? What is this station? A sunken train station for trench trains networks track -9. No, definitely that's not kind of what we're after. And then the multi-platform station. Wow, look at that. We could, to be honest, we could run something like this in there. But that's a lot of platforms. But we could run something like that. Then we could branch off to a number of places. See, that's just way too many platforms. If we had like 3 or 4 platforms in here, that's something I feel we could use. Anyway, we'll just tag it for future expansion then. We do, however, need to leave ourselves a lot of room if we are doing this. So maybe something like that. Wow, it's spaced quite well for this. I like it. I like the idea of doing that. How much does it cost per week? We're not quite making the kind of money to justify that just yet. So I think that's a good spot for it, really. So we'll dedicate this area and potentially through here for the rail station. Maybe integrate it with the ferry station somewhere over here or here. Yeah, that could be good. Yeah, absolutely, somewhere over here where we can use that again, and then that ferry connection onto the other side, and then we kind of loop it back or extend it this way. We could even run two railway lines together, one going into this side and one feeding this direction over here to further future expansion. I like the idea. I really like the idea. So that's how we properly need to plan out what we're going to do at some point, and only fill in as we can at this point in time. So let me just turn off the snapping again, and we'll run these utilities like so. We'll branch it off and run it here. Same thing here, we'll branch it off and run it through there. And we'll probably run something straight through there. And we'll run another connection straight through there. There we go. So that area is nice and served now. Yeah, I definitely like the idea of keeping this this together. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to go with more office. Okay, so this area is going to be office, and this area will be office. And I'm wondering whether what do I do with commercial. So let's do a section of commercial through there, and more office. The thing is, if I don't do, yeah, I think that should just cover office. Yeah, perfect. The thing is, if I don't do a lot of residential in this area, we will end up with a massive demand for transport. And that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve, right? Have us get us some traffic to deal with. Okay, for the moment we'll and now is that, how can I it's insane. I'll just don't demolish things. Well, for the moment, we'll demolish the little bit of pedestrian walkway through there. We might run something next to it over there. But ultimately, I'm going to want to get rid of that. And this area, I think, over here, I'm going to earmark for some parks and the railway line. So the railway line and some parks through there. I should also do. Let me also do a strip of. Oh, not like that, please. Not like this. No. Well, on that section you can. I just don't want it onto this road. So something like that should be okay. Okay, so we're filling that up again. Actually, I should be filling up this section as well. I don't want all the roads to be major like this. But I think for now we'll leave it. We'll leave that as is. Okay, so this might have been a little bit of a slow episode. I also still want to do the stadium over here. I've already got a bit of a station. Oh, you know what? This kind of station might actually be exactly what we want. Instead of doing the four platform or the 6 platform multi-station, we could just do. Could do a term. No, there's nothing to terminate to. We could just do the double platform monorail station. Yeah, I think that would actually work well. So then we can start running monorails in this area for local distribution. At the same time, we can bring in this line. We can run it this way. We can run it this way through here, link it up with that. Apologies with that line over there. Yeah, I think that might be better. I was thinking there's a little bit too much stations over there. Oh, look at this. It's traffic. I love it. We've got some traffic, so we have something to fix as we go. As we go, we've got something to fix. How's the situation with others? Yeah, this thing is getting pretty bad. Well, it's working, but it is getting bad. I think we need to look at a solution for that in the near future. Oh, we're starting to get some skyscrapers over here. I'm liking that. Got one over there on the other side as well. This thing is empty, so let's just start that filling up again. Yeah, so all of that is working. We're seeing more traffic over here. Nothing that's not actually being accommodated. Some of our big intersections. This one is getting pretty busy now. Might have to see what we can do over here, but the fact that we've got a monorail running here is a bit of an issue. We can certainly do a free right turn over here. I think that's probably one of the first things we're going to look at. But yeah, and what I'm also want to try and do is probably do a bit of a low income, high density area right next in this area over here, next to the industrial area. So we'll bring this one through there. I don't necessarily think we need to run any other ones through. Maybe we'll continue the one ways. I think that's probably a good idea. And then we'll start running this and do a bit of a lower income area, or just to kind of feed some of these other industrial areas with some more labor. There we go. Oh, everything else is working out well. See, if we do proper mixed-use developments like this is kind of, we end up with almost no traffic. But if we do kind of mono land use areas like this, we end up with tons of people commuting to work over here, which is it's pretty much as simple as that in reality. Apart from the fact that people choose to live in one area and work in another, and not necessarily make use of mixed use development. But okay, guys, I think I'm going to put a cut in here. We'll continue this expansion of the city over here. We'll start with our rail network and how we're going to run that through the city. Yeah, I'll probably do one through there and one through there. We might actually run an extra one through here somewhere, maybe. I don't necessarily know. I think it's vital that we have to feed every step of this city with rail stations. We can certainly service them with monorail and buses and trams. Yeah, probably little tram loops in this area. Yeah, that could work quite well. And I definitely want to get around to doing all of that. There's so much that I want to do. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Some proper traffic being generated over here. And I am very sure it is caused by this. I'm very sure it is caused by by that. So there is definitely something for us to fix in the next episode. I'm getting quite excited about it. So building this purely office area over here was a very good idea for generating some traffic for us to deal with. And the way you would have not had to deal with this kind of long queue of traffic in the first place would be to make this a proper mixed-use development with a lot of residential components in between. But okay, guys, I'm ExactChaos, and this has been Cities Skylines Exactly. If you've liked this episode and you like what I'm doing, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.